Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Biz Birthday Bash podcast. We are bringing you another phenomenal guest this week, Chelsea Clarke of HerPaperRoute. Is it HerPaperRoute or Route, Chelsea? Man, I feel...
You got it.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I say HerPaperRoute, but depending on where you live, people say route, and it's still right. It's like niche or niche. It's right either way.
Okay, perfect. So we're so excited to have her here to talk about selling your business, which is just, I think, a very strange concept probably to a lot of people in the creative industry. We tend to build our businesses around our persona, and like who we are is also our brand. And so it's kind of hard to separate the two sometimes. But what happens if you get to a place where you have created something that's branded, that's a full package business type of deal, and you want to sell it? Chelsea's going to be talking to us about some of those things today. So before we get started, I am going to tell you guys a little more about Chelsea, and then we will also have her introduce herself in her own words. Chelsea Clarke is a business strategist, investor, business broker, and the founder of an entrepreneurship blog, podcast, and school, HerPaperRoute. Her specialties are blog monetization and website investing. Chelsea developed the HerPaperRoute profit model, a system for monetizing and scaling content, which she teaches at her HerPaperRoute Academy. Chelsea clawed herself out of $30,000 of debt in less than 2 years and went from a waitress earning $11 an hour, struggling in the most expensive city in the country, and has grown her company to over $500,000 in revenue in less than 3 years. And in 2019, Chelsea launched the Blogs for Sale brokerage, where she helps investors and content creators buy and sell niche online businesses, blogs, and media properties. Although she has a BA in media, Chelsea believes you do not need a fancy degree to create a successful business in this day and age. Though her work teaching marketing and business growth hacking strategies, through her work teaching marketing and business growth hacking strategies, she has helped a community of 200,000 plus entrepreneurs increase their financial fitness and make more paper money. Chelsea's story has been featured in Authority Magazine and Business Insider. And Chelsea, you are the coolest. So welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, you guys are the coolest. That was quite a mouthful. Wow, well done.
Yes, there's a lot of tongue twisters in there. It's very easy to read it in your head, and then when you're saying it out loud, you're like, oh. Got some shiny adjectives in there and a bunch of fun things. So no, it's very, it gives us a really good picture of kind of your story and where you came from. But if you have anything else you want to tell our audience about yourself, before we dive into the questions, by all means, please put it into your own words.
Oh gosh, you nailed it. But yeah, that's what I do. I help people scale their business so that they can increase the value of their website and sell it later on. So whether you want to sell your business or not, there's a lot of things that you can do to increase the value either way. So that's what I help people to do.
Okay, and you're specifically helping people sell, it sounds like mainly blogs, so mainly online websites. Is there a specific niche, I guess?
Yeah, so we do focus on content sites. So like blogs, we also sell e-commerce businesses, SaaS companies, apps, things like that. Anything that's an online business. We started by focusing on content sites, so like blogs, and then it's sort of grown from there, different types of businesses, Amazon, FBA, Shopify businesses, anything that you sell online.
Cool. Yeah, that is so cool. And I'm so curious, how do you even get into something like this? Because I'm sure a lot of people don't even realize this type of niche even exists. So how did you get into this role of creating this?
That's a great question. So I was working at a business brokerage when I was pregnant, and I was working in the marketing department, but that's where I really got interested in brokering businesses, just from working with the brokers there. So when I forged out and I focused on just blogging full time, I still had an interest in buying and selling businesses, but as an online business. So it's where my interests were because I loved content marketing and affiliate marketing and blogging. And I thought there was really a great market for something where you could buy and sell websites. And so I actually went through the International Business Brokers Association, and I learned how to be a broker for the brick and mortar style of selling businesses. But then I just applied that to selling online businesses. And I started really what's called just blog flipping. And I was doing it for myself for sites that I had built myself and then sold. And then pretty soon people just started asking me, hey, can you help me sell my website? And that's when I launched the marketplace so that other people could buy and sell sites with ease as well. So really just diving right into it and doing it. And you don't have to be a broker to do it either. You can just sell your own website yourself. You could either work with a broker like myself, or you can just sell it on your own. But there's definitely a lot to take to know and do and be aware of. But that's to say anybody can do it. You don't have to actually go to school to be able to sell your website.
Okay. Yes, that's good clarification kind of for our audience to understand. And I think it's like I was saying at the beginning, probably a very foreign concept for a lot of our audience to really think about selling their own creative brands, because a lot of them have e-commerce shops through Shopify or Etsy. And I know it also gets really complicated and convoluted when you have Etsy shops. I've heard stories about people who like literally their entire livelihood was made and created on Etsy, and they like legally couldn't sell their Etsy shop, which is kind of a interesting or weird side of it. But I had a clarification for you, Chelsea. When you said that you were waitressing in the most expensive city in the country, were you doing this like while you got your BA, or was it after?
So I was working as a waitress while I was in school and university and getting my BA as well. And then for a couple of years after, so I had a day job in marketing, corporate marketing, but that, it was an entry-level position. It was not paying the bills really. So I also had a night job waitressing and bartending. And then at the same time, I was starting a drop shipping business. So I was starting my first online businesses for myself. So not just the ones that I was building in the marketing day job for my boss's clients, but also applying that interest into my own online business. And it was I would say like a good couple years went by until I made the connection of blogging and going full in on my blog. And when I did that, that's where really everything came together. And we have sold Etsy shops as well. And you're right, it can be a little bit tricky. A nice workaround for Etsy is you can actually just sell your business, like sell the domain that you have, and then you would transfer the Etsy account, but then the new owner would have their own Etsy account and they just swap the links. So any of the current Etsy account links usually just get moved over to the new owner's own Etsy account. And that's a workaround that's done because Etsy makes it a little bit hard for payouts if your buyer is in a different country than you are, because Etsy has a different set of rules for each country that Etsy sells in. Okay. So it can be done, but yes, you are totally right. It's not as easy as transferring everything else and every other type of platform. But you can get around some things for sure.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. Okay. So when you were basically living your life, not sleeping, having a full-time job, bartending and waitressing, and creating your own business, what was kind of like the turning point that you were like, yeah, I'm going to sell this? Because I just feel like that realization of being like, I'm going to sell this just seems like we've been talking about, just so foreign. Like for me, I'm like, I don't think I could ever sell it. So why did you kind of decide to take that route instead of pursuing it further?
Oh, that's such a great question. And you're so right. I think you guys had mentioned a moment ago too, when you're creating a business, a lot of the time it's your personal brand. So I created my first couple online businesses not on my personal brand. So I did that with the intention that I had an exit strategy in mind. So I knew that I wasn't going to run it forever. It was more of just a means to an end at the time. And so what I did was, when I was pregnant and I quit my job and I went all in on my blog, the blog at that time was a beauty blog. And I enjoyed writing the content, but it took a lot of time writing beauty reviews and taking photos of products and things like that. And that wasn't really where my interests lay. So my photo was on the website in the sidebar, But I was able just to replace that with a stock image of a woman. I could remove any pictures of myself or my baby at the time. So I just depersonalized it. And then that made it emotionally and just professionally a lot easier to step into the idea of selling it, because I was able to take myself off of it, not be the face of it. So now when I'm creating a niche site with the intention to sell, I never put my name on it. I never put my actual photo on it. I create a persona of someone who would be running the site. And then when it goes up for sale, the new owner can just put their own name on it, swap their own picture on it, or just keep it as is and use this made up alias of a person to continue running the blog.
This is so cool. So they basically have like a foundation already in place. You're just like, here it is. Now you just keep making it happen. And you've already done like the heavy lifting up front. Oh my goodness. I didn't like realize
You're
this
totally
was a thing. Oh yeah. I think the whole idea of like depersonalizing it is really interesting because so many of the times the marketing strategies we hear like personalize it, put yourself into it. But like this is a totally different type of strategy for a totally different type of person. And then finding a buyer, I just think that would be hard too. So what were like some of the steps you took when you were finding that like first buyer for the first business you were selling?
So with the beauty blog that I was selling, at the same time that I was running that blog, I had recently launched HerPaperRoute.com. And that was the blog where I teach blogging, content marketing, niche site investing tips. So I had built up a community of people on the HerPaperRoute side who were interested in buying, selling, and developing websites. So when it came time that I was ready to put mine up for sale, I could just let my email list know that I have something for sale. And then that was my first introduction to building a secondary list of investors and buyers. So it didn't happen overnight. It's something that I've been building up over the years. But now I do have a large community of people who are buyers. And the funny thing is, especially like I know we keep going back to this personal brand thing, but I know listeners will be curious about this. Buyers, there's a large group of a type of investor who specifically looks for sites that have some sort of persona that they could continue to run without putting their own face on it. So if you don't want to put your own face on it, that's actually can still be sought after as long as you've created some sort of persona that would go with the blog. So that's something to think about too, as a really great way to continue sort of the life of the blog that you started or the online business, the Shopify store, whatever it is. There are buyers who will be glad to find a site where they can just continue to run it as a woman, because there's a lot of buyers who are men. You'll be surprised. They are men who buy beauty blogs, mom blogs, women's lifestyle blogs, because they are in it as investors. They buy sites that have traffic, that are generating revenue. They don't want to put their, burly man face on this mom blog, but they are happy to continue to run it because it is profitable and it has a community around it. So that's why another reason why you'd probably want to take your own persona off, because when someone else is running your site, you don't want to have your name on it. Once they have it, they could do anything with it, right? So you wouldn't want your personal brand, your name, to continue on the business if you really didn't have a hand in the future of the business.
So you're telling me I'm being catfished by men running beauty blogs right now?
Mommy blogs.
Yes. Oh God. When you put it like that, you're right. When I started finding out about this stuff, I was shocked. And at first I was like, oh, that just seems dishonest. Like I don't, it made me feel like, oh, I don't like that. I thought this person was this person. But then as I got to understand it more, I realized it's just a type of business. And the person who originally did create that site, they cashed out. They are happily on a beach somewhere. They are happy that they were able to sell that business and, the deal was done. So I definitely support people. If that's just your choice, go for it.
I know. I'm sitting over here. I just feel like so dumbfounded. Like, what?
Okay, this is like kind of getting in the weeds a little bit, but I'm just like freaking out at this whole concept. So these people who like, if the man buys this beauty blog, how do they keep up with the social media? Do they just like never show up on stories? Or how does that kind of work? Is it just like more of a further removed kind of thing and they just are posting links and word content versus like visual? if that makes sense.
So I have been following a few people who have purchased and just to see how they continue running the site. So at my marketplace, I don't sell only my own sites. I also represent other people's sites so they can apply to sell their business on the marketplace as well. So there's other people who have created sites there as well. And so after a site is sold, I'll keep tabs on the social media and just see how the new owner is keeping things going. And it's interesting. Usually it is just like that links and a couple stock photos, and it's not as personal, maybe. But I do have a couple buyers that I've seen who actually hire people on their team who become the face of the Instagram. So they will create the reels, they'll be doing things on TikTok, but they're just a person that works in the business. They're not saying that that person is the owner. So they just have different team members. That's a way that I've seen it handled as well that seems to work really well. But I did see a site sell a couple years ago. It was a beauty blog, and a lot of the reviews were about women's period subscription boxes. And a man bought it. And then I don't think he really realized what he was getting into because there was no updates after, there's only a few blog posts. But I think when he realized, oh, this is like about something I have no idea, so it has to be a right fit, the buyer and the content. That's what I'm saying too. Like if someone's listening and they're thinking they might want to buy a website, it's great because it gives you that jump start. You can buy a business that has followers, a community, email list, traffic, all of that stuff already. But if you personally don't understand the actual business, like you don't understand the niche or you're not willing to learn, then it may not be the right one for you. But the great thing is that there is so many sites out there in every single niche that you can find something that really will match your expertise and your interests every time.
Okay, so you must have had this like aha moment, I would imagine, when you decided to create this online, this online resource through HerPaperRoute, the blogsforsale.co. Basically, it just feels kind of like a listing for websites for sale or directory or whatever word you want to use to call it. So what was your like aha moment that the world needed this, I guess? Because I know you had started doing things on your own website and you were going to sell your own website, and then you already had HerPaperRoute. Like, I'm trying to put all the pieces together because I just think it's a really interesting story.
Yeah. So I sort of had an aha moment on both sides, on the side for people who were selling their businesses and the side for people who were looking to buy. So what really surprised me was the people who were looking to buy. I knew that there was a market because I personally had an interest in it. And I just had a feeling that because there was so much profitability involved, like you could take a site, you can flip it, you can make a good profit, you could take something, and it's not like when you buy a house, you don't have to get a huge mortgage, you don't have to get a team of contractors to flip it. But even so, you may have a small team of writers and people to help on the website. The actual entry into blog flipping and website investing really is so much more accessible to people. So as soon as I launched, I was still surprised by how many people were contacting me with interest to buy so soon. That was something that I was very pleasantly surprised about. But one of the reasons that I started the marketplace was because of the blogging community that I had been working with over at HerPaperRoute. I kept seeing people, they would get excited, they'd start their blog, they would spend hours writing all of this content and pinning and working on SEO and just doing all of this work. And then for whatever reason, their passions would change or they would get pulled to something else. And they would just say, okay, well, I'll just give up. I'll just let my hosting expire. I gave it a good shot. To me, I was like, no, there's so much value in all of that time spent, money spent, all of that content that you created, all of that time you were creating things even on Instagram and growing your community on all of these different platforms. There has to be a way to be able to have that live on so that you can cash out, you can earn some money from it, you can go and focus on something else, but all of that work that you did doesn't have to just die out. So that was sort of my aha moment on either side, and being able to provide that platform and that service for people was really just, it all kind of fell into place after that. And that's why I'm so excited, because it's just like, it's the most fun thing to get to create content and get to help people to buy and sell and earn a return on all of that hard work that I know goes into creating content, because I've been there. It's a lot of work. You guys know.
Yes. It's so true. By the time I think about like how many podcasts Cami and I have, and just in between our two separate businesses as well, like all the blog posts we've done individually. So it was funny because just on like the content note, I was egging Cami on recently, being like, we need to write a book. We need to do it. We need to write a book. And she was like,
you should.
what will we write a book about? She was like, I don't have the headspace. I can't. And I was like, literally, I was like, we just take the notes from all of our bazillion podcast episodes and like reformat it into book content. And like, and that's what people do with emails. That's what people do with Instagram posts and social. And so when you buy something that's already full of content, I mean, there's almost like a copy and paste kind of strategy that goes with it, that ability to continue to leverage that. So Chelsea, how many businesses at a time would you say are listed on blogsforsale.co?
So we represent about 7 businesses to 20 businesses at a time. And it seems like the most popular, like hot spot for where people are looking to buy is a site that is earning about $500 per month to $2,000 a month. When we list sites like that, they sell really fast. They don't sit long. We get multiple offers, and I feel like we can't stock them fast enough. So, yeah, that's really, if your site is earning about that much, then yeah, come talk to me. We've already got people lined up who would be interested. But even if your site is earning less, there's still an interest in that as well. We still sell starter sites that are earning $50 to $100 a month. Those sell as well. So I wouldn't want to discourage anyone, but there's so many different types of ways to monetize your content, whether it's ad revenue, digital products, affiliate marketing, podcasts, YouTube channels, all of these things like this that all increase the value of your website and increase the actual resale value, which is, the thing everyone always wants to know. So yeah, if your site is earning about that, that's really the sweet spot for sure.
I guess I will have to submit mine to Blogs for Sale. It is a Shopify site though. So is blogsforsale.co like the right place to go if I wanted to list that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we do have buyers that are interested in Shopify stores. We've sold quite a few of them in the last 12 months. And it's cool because Shopify is so easy to transfer. Like it is really, we can actually close from the time we're signing the legal documents between your buyer and the time that the actual escrow payment is closing, which really only takes a couple days. Everything can be transferred over to the new owner and you can run from there. So it's actually really easy to transition ownership of a Shopify store.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, that is cool.
So I have it currently listed on Shopify Exchange. It's called the Thank You Society. And I started a line of greeting cards and paper products that I just kind of realized I'm not going to take this long term, like focus shifted and changed a little bit. But it has a really great base and foundation in terms of branding and look and the products that I'm offering. And I have some inventory and stuff like that.
Oh, that is awesome.
I have gotten some weird messages on Shopify Exchange, Chelsea. So strange. Like people.
I believe it.
Yeah, people. I don't even know if using the word people is correct because I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't get it. Like basically coming to me and being like, I'd love to talk about a transaction, but I need some personal information first. Can we talk via email? And it just feels like fishy and bizarre. And so I never move forward with it. Like this one person who was like, I used to do a bunch of like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And I was like, all right, those are a bunch of buzzwords that I'm just going to shut this down real quick.
Yeah.
Like
definitely red flag. And that's a great thing to bring up. For anyone listening, that's a great reason to work with a broker because when you put your business up for sale with someone who handles that, they literally vet each person. You don't have to talk to people until an offer is on the table. So your broker is working behind the scenes to make sure that the inquiries that are coming in are from legitimate buyers. They're checking their bank statements to make sure that they really do have the funds to even enter into a conversation with you when it's time to meet you. So that's a nice way to weed out people who may be scammers, because I've seen it all. I know what the red flags are. I know when someone is not legitimate and they can, we just don't need to even engage. But if you're selling your site on your own, you may not be able to know that, but having that intuition like you have is awesome. If you have that, definitely listen to it. But I have also had experiences where buyers have sounded shady and it seemed kind of weird, and they've been asking questions that other buyers usually don't ask, and it's given me, like, it's put up red flags. So what I do is I will actually enter into some sort of agreement, have an NDA with them, get face-to-face over Zoom, and I'll just verify to make sure that they really are a legitimate person. And a few times they actually are. They've just been a little bit strange, and that's okay. We're all strange sometimes. Sometimes buyers don't know the questions to ask, and that's okay. So yeah, just having someone like that that's looking out for you, that's an important way. And it also saves you a lot of time too, because then you're able to just focus on running your business. You're not also focusing on answering 1,000 emails and inquiries, people asking the same questions about your business for sale over and over again.
Like, I think it was one gentleman sent probably a list of 15 questions. And I was like, thank you so much for your questions. Most of these are actually already answered from my listing. So can you, once you read it, will you come back and clarify like things I might have missed or you want to know? And then what did he say, Cammie? I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember.
It was like, oh, I was just hoping to have a conversation with a live person.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
I just felt like the hair going up on the back of my neck. And like, you could be right, Chelsea, that it maybe was just like a little bit of like an oddball situation. But I also am going to protect myself every single time. I'm like, I'm not putting my foot in the creek where the snake is, like I'm not even going, even if it's downstream, I'm going to be like, nope, I'm just going to be a little more careful. So reining it back in then for our audience's sake, you kind of spoke a little bit to this earlier, but why do you think people most often decide to sell their online business?
I see a lot of the time people have they started something, they were really passionate about it, and then things just changed. Maybe years have gone by, maybe they have kids now, or just their interest in that niche has changed. Maybe their skills have grown somewhere else, or they just feel called to working on something different, whether that be a different type of business, a different type of website, or something completely offline. So that's what we see a lot. People just want to be able to focus on other projects. That's the biggest reason. Then there's some reasons where times when people feel like they've taken the business as far as they personally can. They feel like they have set it up with all of the affiliate links and they've done all the promotion that they feel they know how to do, and they're not sure how to take it further. And they feel like someone else would be better to be able to take it now and run with it and improve it. Those are really the two main reasons. There's other reasons too, like people they're no longer interested in renewing the domain. Sometimes it's as simple as that. They don't feel like maintaining a website anymore. And for someone else, they'll look at your website and they'll see all of this cool content, and to them it's brand new. So you might feel like your content is dry or old, but to fresh eyes, it may be the most awesome thing ever. So that is another great way. If you're thinking about selling, just to be able to look at your website from someone else's perspective who's never seen it before.
Yes, I love thinking about that because we tell people that in our community a lot. We're like, what you look at every day and get sick of is probably really interesting to someone else.
Yeah, even if you're sick of yourself, other people aren't. So it's fine. Okay, so Chelsea, I have to know, so some of your buyers, do they ever, I feel like there'd be this emotional attachment to their business that they created and then selling it. Is there some sort of tips you give for being how to let go of your business? Or are they coming back to the buyer and being like, hey, you didn't do that right, or I didn't like the way you did this? How do you separate that ownership? I just feel like that would be really difficult, and I'm sure there have been some dramatic situations. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it is. It can be, especially when it's your first business that you are selling. you have every right to feel like it's tough to let go, because it is. A lot of the time, your first business, it's like your baby. You created it. You remember when you started. Like, there's so much emotional attachment to your first business. So yes, it's totally normal to feel all the feelings when you're ready to sell, or not ready, but you're thinking about it. And after the sale, I think really when you have that offer and you're looking at that number, focusing on the future, focusing on what you're going to do with that money, whether you reinvest it into your next project, invest it into your kids' school, whatever, like your kids' education, whatever it is, the thing that you could do to make it positive, that income really can have an impact in a positive way. So, we always say in business, just don't focus on the money, don't focus on the money will come. But when it comes down to selling a business, yes, you are focusing on the money, and it's okay. It's a good thing. You should feel good about the money and the feelings that come around with selling. And I know when we also sell, it's going to be hard to not look at the website and not look at your social accounts that are now being run by someone else, because of course, you're going to think, I would have done it differently if I still had it. I would never have posted that photo, or that is so off brand. But you have to just let that go. And it really just comes down to the mindset of knowing and trusting that the person who is your buyer and who is taking over the business, yes, they have creative right to run it how they want. And you really just have to accept that and know that you took it as far as you took it. You did an amazing thing, and just focus on what the next part of your journey will be now. And, it's tough. It is. It really is tough. And it's like anything, some people get really emotionally attached to their first car. And when they sell their car, we attach certain personalities to things. We can attach a personality to our car, to our first apartment, that we've moved out from. We'll always have those memories, but we just have to remember that it's not a person, right? Business is business. And when you're ready to exit and sell, it's just your personal development and getting you ahead so that you could focus on what your next thing in your journey will be.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times when people do get to the point of selling their business, there is an emotional element. I kind of think of like selling your house, right? Like there's an emotional element, but you're also probably at peace with the fact that you're looking for the next thing. So like, I know for me, when I had that light bulb aha moment, like I want to sell the Thank You Society, I was like, I want to sell the Thank You Society. And I know I'm going to feel all those like heartstring tugs, when it comes to that point, if someone does make an offer and if that gets transferred away someday, kind of like the baby bird leaving the nest or whatever analogy you want to use. But I think very rarely is somebody selling something that their heart's in 100%. I feel like that would be like a pretty rare situation.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think you're totally right. I feel like when someone makes a decision to sell, absolutely, it becomes very exciting. And yes, the due diligence process with buyers can be exhausting at times, answering questions. And, a lot of times buyers, they will get personal and they will dig into things. And you just have to remember not to take it personally. Just understand that they are doing their due diligence because they want to understand how they can best run with the business if they were to purchase it. And, some buyers, they will try to lowball you offers. And again, don't get offended by that. It's not that they are saying your business is crap. They are just looking at the numbers. They're looking at their own budget and their own personal connections with what they think something is valued. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right or wrong. It's not personal. And an offer is just an offer. So you don't have to accept any offer unless it's one that you really are excited about. And so when you come at it from that, it's just an exciting thing to be able to sell, and welcoming that money into your world. It's a good thing.
Yes. Okay. So more on like the practical level, if you are planning on selling your business or you're like, oh, this sounds like something I think I might be interested in, what are a couple things you might want to start considering or things to put in place, like things to do first, just some practical next step tips?
For sure. So some of the things that you would do to prepare your site to sell are things that you're probably doing in your business already. So things like keeping track of your profit and loss, what money is coming in, what money is going out, keeping some sort of a spreadsheet of a record of your monthly profit and loss. That's going to be one of your most important pieces of the selling process because buyers, they'll want to see that. They'll want to understand exactly how the business is making money. Another thing is making sure that your Google Analytics are connected to whether it's your website or if you're using a third-party type of shopping platform, having that tracking set up so that buyers can go and take a look at the analytics and just verify that, yes, your business is getting traffic, people are clicking on things, and you really do have an active business. So those would be the two main things. And then other things to take into consideration, sort of as we touched on about removing your persona, you may want to start taking down pictures of yourself or pictures of your kids for sure. If you have any pictures of your family, like that, personal things, just start taking those down, replacing them with different images. That just puts your website in a good position to be ready to go out onto the market. You also may want to start thinking about some of the things that buyers may be curious about. So things like your social accounts. If you're going to be including your email list and your social accounts, just making sure that you're keeping record of how many people are opening your emails. And if you use something like ConvertKit or MailChimp, MailerLite, that's all done for you. You can just go and see your report. And if people are opening your emails a lot and clicking, you have a high open and click rate, then that also helps the saleability of your business when it comes time to sell. And certainly there's other sort of technical things to take into consideration, like the actual transfer of those files. The actual website migration can be done really easily. You can do it yourself using a free plugin, or you can have your web host do it, or the buyer's web host perform the migration. So the actual tech of transferring the website itself usually isn't as confusing as we assume it is until we've done it 1 to 20 times. And then, it's really not as confusing as we might think. But yeah, those are really the main things that I would make sure everyone just has lined up. And you probably already have that set up in your business already.
Yeah, all of those numbers are great to have in place to be keeping track of for sure. And just to have, I think, having your social accounts in good order too, like considering the personalization over there, I have a couple photos of my cats on the Thank You Society Instagram page which I'm okay with still leaving up because that's not like a person. But it's like I definitely don't have any photos of my face over there. It's been a logo for a really long time. But I do have another question, Chelsea, kind of a little for my selfish reasons.
Yeah.
So the Thank You Society just hasn't, the bones are all there. Like the products are there, the bones are there, but I literally don't have the time to put in the marketing efforts. So there's not a lot of stuff happening in that department. So I know that anyone who takes it and even makes an attempt to post on social media once a day will be able to gain some traction because I'm not doing it right now. Mm-hmm. So can you still have some success selling a business even when your profit margins are really thin?
Yes, you can. And if you're thinking about how much you're posting or not posting, if you are thinking that you might be interested in selling a business, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a virtual assistant who is just keeping your social accounts updated. Who, if you have people messaging on your Facebook page asking questions, you have someone that's replying to them. So no one's just being left hanging. It's like if someone goes to give you a high five and you don't high five back. That's kind of what it's like on a social account if no one is answering, if a business is just ignoring their audience. So having someone there to keep that up, to just post even just once a week on Instagram, because when buyers come to look at your business, they are looking at everything and they are coming from a place of trying to find a problem, trying to find a reason why it's not a good investment for them. So if they come to a Facebook page and they see that it hasn't been updated or there's a bunch of unanswered comments from potential clients, customers, just people in the community, that's going to be a red flag for them because they'll think, oh no, what else hasn't been upkept? What other problems might there be? So having your social accounts active and publicly things are going on, that's just going to put your business in a really great light, regardless, but especially when you're going to sell it.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
That's a great question, though. I'm sure a lot of people would be wondering that. And I also want to mention, when people put their site up for sale, sometimes people think they've made the decision in their mind that it's no longer theirs, and they just sort of they stop posting, they stop putting out blog content, they stop updating their sales pages, and that's not good. You haven't sold it until you really have sold it. So even if in your heart and your mind you're disconnected from it, just have a virtual assistant or someone to keep it going for you if you feel like you can't. It's going to help you, like 10 times out of 10, it's going to help you with that sale.
Okay. That is great advice. Thank you. I need to hear that.
Oh, Elizabeth, guess you better start posting again.
I know. Oh boy.
I know. So I guess that would be really hard, because it's like in your heart, you're just like, oh, I'm done with this. And now if you really want to sell it, you got to like bring it back to life again. So
that's right. Yeah.
A little bit of a catch-22 there. But I guess it's like you're selling a dead plant. You know, if you're in a nursery and they're like not watering the plant, and then it's like, you don't want to buy that one because it looks all janky. So
I love that. I love that analogy.
That's actually very true.
Okay. So do we have any other questions about selling businesses, Elizabeth, specifically? Like, did you want to have any others, or should I end with the final question?
Well, I want Chelsea to talk really quick about the specific benefits of working with her and her brokerage over at blogsforsale.co, because I just want people to like really know and understand all the benefits of why they should potentially list with you guys, Chelsea.
Well, thank you. That's super kind of you to invite me to talk about that. I was not planning to promo anything, but yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to work with a broker. And what we do is we really are there for you every single step of the way. So we're there to give you a free valuation. You can just go to blogsforsale.co/VAL, just like Val as in valuation. And then you fill out a couple questions just to get us some information about your business. And then I will personally respond and give you some suggested prices of a range that it could potentially list for, as well as some suggestions, like maybe if there's something that could be worked on or improved to increase the value, I'll let you know. And then if you wanted to list, we can get right into that. I give you a listing agreement, and everything is sort of just laid out so you are totally aware of everything. And then what we do is we don't just list it on our marketplace, but we have co-broker sites where we are advertising all over the internet, and we are reaching out to our own network of investors and buyers, as well as different networks and communities of buyers as well. I'm also partnered in some private equity groups that I meet with weekly, and I bring deals to them. So if your site is a great fit for someone in these meetings that we have, that's another great way that we can get your listing out there as well. And then, like we were talking about, so you can just focus on your business and you're not having to answer all of those questions. That's what I do for you. So I'm daily talking to potential interested buyers and going through the nitty-gritty of things so that you don't actually have to deal with anything until someone is ready to present an offer to you. And then you get to just either accept, decline, or send a counter. And then I go back and I'm able to do the negotiations on your behalf. So you don't even have to worry about saying the wrong thing. I can let you know, like, oh, maybe that's a little low, your counter. Let's come back a little bit higher. And, I'm always working on your side to get you the best price. And then when it comes time to actually sign that agreement, we provide the legal documents, we open an escrow account, and I'm there to manage the transfer to make sure that all of your website files and all of the assets that go with your business get transferred over to the new owner. And then I'm also there to make sure that you get paid in a timely fashion so that money from escrow gets back to you and everyone is happy at the end. So there's tons of questions that come up, and myself and my team, we're always there to be able to answer questions at any time, really. You can jump on a Zoom call with me. And it feels daunting when it's your first time thinking about selling. But once you've done it, it's such a exciting thing that I keep seeing over and over again. First-time sellers, they get obsessed, they get addicted like I do, and we have people who just keep on coming back and selling different businesses or buying a business and reselling it on the platform. So it's definitely becomes a nice little side hustle for people, which is a cool thing, I think.
Oh my gosh. See, I can totally see Elizabeth doing this because she is like the domain hoarder, and she'll just be like, I just had this great idea. And I'm like, girl, this is what you need to be doing.
That's awesome if you are.
She really is. I mean, this would be such your cup of tea, Elizabeth, don't you think?
Yeah, because I can not to toot my own horn, I can build a website in a day if I want.
She's really good at this kind of stuff. So I can see her just coming up with businesses and then selling them through you. And oh my gosh, I just love it.
That is awesome. Well, if you want to sell multiple sites, we do offer a seriously reduced commission for people who actually build sites for us. And then we're able to just list your sites over and over again for anything that you do build. So that's a nice kind of deal that we have with partners as well.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. No, I'm on blogsforsale.co right now, just scrolling through all the recently sold ones, Chelsea.
Oh yeah.
It's really cool. I'm like, holy cow, so many different things that people have bought, and I'm just amazed. So I'm really glad that you took your time to talk to us today. Can you tell people where to find you, and then Cami will ask our final question.
Well, thank you so much for having me, you guys. Both of you are so sweet, and this has been so much fun getting to nerd out. I could talk about this kind of stuff all day long, so thank you so much for allowing me the space to blabber on about it. You guys, you can find me at HerPaperRoute.com and blogsforsale.co. I'm also on Instagram at HerPaperRoute, and that is me.
Oh my gosh, you are just the best. I'm so excited. Okay, so my final question is, what are you hoping to accomplish in 2021? What are some goals you have for this year? Any big things coming up? Just let us know. We'd love to hear.
Ooh, I'm glad you asked, because actually I wanted to invite you guys to take part in something. I am actually working on my virtual summit coming up this year. It's not announced yet. We are just in the planning stages, and I would love to have both of you on as speakers if you're interested. I'm putting you on the hot seat right now, but
oh my gosh, I'm flattered.
It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be all about content creation and creating income from your online content. So I would love to have both of you guys on as speakers if you would be interested in that.
We're absolutely interested.
Yeah, we're absolutely interested. So send the info over so we can take a look at everything.
Awesome.
We've thrown some summits before, so it is a fun, I should say, summit. But we have ideas for additional ones.
It felt like multiple, to be honest.
They're a lot of work. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness,
that is awesome. We're definitely interested in this. We'll just have to keep our audience tuned. Yeah, they really are. Oh, so that is a very lofty and amazing goal. So very excited.
Thank you. That's why that's all my focus right now, because I did host a summit last year, and man, it is so much work. It's so fun and so rewarding, but it takes months of planning. So that is where all my brain power is going right now. That is really the only big goal I can put out into the world just in this moment.
Just one at a time, you got to focus.
Right.
So anyway, thank you so much for coming on the show. I know our audience is going to absolutely love you. And I just want to tell everyone that you were literally so stunning in your little white office. It's just
oh my gosh,
so glowy, you guys. She looks like an angel. All right. I just want you to know that. I need everyone to know that. So thank you.
It's a good window. Good lighting.
Yeah, it's amazing. She looks exactly how she does on her website. I was like, oh my goodness, Chelsea.
You guys are so kind. You're the babes. You guys are the podcasting babes over here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, before this turns into a Southern goodbye, I will do our housekeeping. I'm assigning it to myself, Elizabeth. Look at me go. Okay, so guys, if you love this episode and you love all of our episodes, please leave us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. Just go do it. I know you hear us say that all the time, but just actually do it this time, because it helps us so much, and we can bring on other awesome guests like Chelsea to tell you all the things and spill all the tea about selling your business and all that good stuff. So leave us a 5-star rating review. If you have more questions, you can go to bizbirthdaybash.com/Q&Cake and leave your question there, and we will answer it on our Q&Cake episode. And if you are also loving listening, please screenshot this, tag it on your stories, send it to your stories tag at BizBirthdayBash so we can share on Instagram. We love seeing you guys are listening. And I think that is it. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we are done. Goodbye.
That's impressive.
Thanks for being on again, Chelsea. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Bye, everyone. Hey guys, we just wanted to hop in and talk about one of our amazing resources, the A to Z directory. All of us have thought at some point, how did she do that or how did she make that? And maybe you don't know where to start or how the heck to produce this amazing product you've dreamt up.
Well, the A to Z directory is the missing puzzle piece in your biz, you guys, seriously. So it's built in the form of a yearly membership, and it's your one-stop shop for finding suppliers and vendors for all the things. Literally where to print everything from custom invitations, greeting cards, mugs, koozies, acrylic printing, letterpress, custom ribbon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it literally goes from A to Z. From acrylic printers to zipper pouches, we have it in the A to Z directory.
We want to help all of you search less and create more with this list of 300 plus vendors and suppliers. Don't worry, they're very organized. It's not going to be overwhelming and confusing when you join. And this membership also includes access to a private Facebook community. It's incredibly active and involved. And if you need a question answered fast, that is definitely the place to go.
Yeah, our Facebook group really is the best. You guys, everyone is so helpful in there. And we're in there too, answering questions you guys might have. So it's a great way to get access to us and ask us things without sliding into our DMs. So we're more likely to answer you in the Facebook group, just saying. Anyway, also in the Facebook group, this is new for 2020 and we're really excited about it. We are hosting monthly Power Hour Q&A sessions that are live, and these are only available to our A to Z directory members. So you can hop in with us live and ask us all your burning questions in real time and just hang out with us every month. And we do these at different times so you can actually be there live, and the replays are always available in the Facebook group for members.
This resource is priced at $147 a year, which honestly is extremely affordable and is full of so many benefits, such as exclusive vendor coupons for members only. And we would love to have you guys join. Seriously, it's kind of like our family and our tribe. So visit bizbirthdaybash.com/directory to sign up today and use coupon code podcast2020 to receive $20 off your first year. That's podcast, all caps, 2020 for $20 off your first year.
We can't wait to see you in the Facebook group.